Okay, now that we've done most of the basics of argumentation, there are going to be two more videos. The first is about first and second tier reasons or first and second tier analysis. And before I get into actually explaining this, I want to start with why do I think this video is important. The main reason is I think many teams struggle to differentiate the types of reasons and the types of analysis that they provide. And either they provide the second tier analysis, which I'll elaborate a bit more later, or they just try to provide everything, even though it's like not so crucial to the burden itself and to the analysis. So you're ending up like just like wasting time, or they don't provide enough analysis. So, and this is bad because like this just limits your capacity to, if we're looking at top half, to prove your arguments, but in bottom half to extend adequately. So, what are like first tier characteristics, analysis, incentives, whatever you like to call? These are basically the incentives. So like literally just put a giant the before for each type of actor, whether we're talking about actor motion specifically, or we're talking about actors that are crucial part of the mechanism that we're trying to prove, that basically make them tick, make them function, make them do things. Just like there are two broad characteristics of this. The first is that they are essential to the actor. So the actor really cares about them to the extent to which their existence could be connected with this. Some notable examples of this is, for example, helping them retain power, ensuring that they have like basic resources, they have adequate well-being, blah, blah, blah. Basically, these are incentives that if you were to visualize them, if you were to like, let's say, do a theoretical situation, these incentives are so crucial to you that you cannot exist without them. Like these are the incentives that must exist. And the second aligning characteristics of this is that they align with the self-interest of the actor. I know that in debating there is like, oh, but you care about other things and things like that, which is fine. But again, it's much more intuitive to think about people as if they are selfish. Even if you're looking from the collectivist type of perspective or the collectivist way of thinking, it's still to a certain extent selfish because it aligns with your incentives towards the collective or these types of things. But to not blur the point, just what is selfishly good for you and what do you selfishly care about, etc. So bottom line is, these types of reasons are the essential reasons that are towards you. And you should always ask yourself whenever you point to an incentive or a mechanism, okay, is this something super crucial to the actor? Like, is this essential to them? Can they live without it? And also by asking yourself this question, you strengthen the power of each of the analysis that are trying to prove the likelihood of the case. Second tier incentives have the following four characteristics. The first and most basic thing is that it's non-essential. So for example, like the example I've listed here, feeling good about when you donate or volunteer, you can live without this. You can, it is good, it is a reason that you're giving, but it's not a reason that if you stand up tomorrow and you wake up, you, how do you say, you will necessarily do X thing because of that, without weighing it less so towards other considerations like your own personal well-being, your own personal goals, and things like that. Now, if you were to explain why donating and volunteering are connected to these types of things, then you are putting them closer towards the first tier type of analysis. But firstly, that actually requires more analysis, so you are required to explain more why the actor is likely to care about such activities, or so this would require more analysis, or to explain why this is a inherent characteristic of them. In that case, it also requires more analysis, or it's just a wrong idea. It's just a wrong incentive to prove. If it's non-essential to the actor, you will undoubtedly lose to your opening government or opening opposition if they're able to prove essential incentives towards the actor on them. The second type of non-essential analysis is if it requires like significant effort to achieve the thing. Thus, it's like deprioritized because of this. So, like, think about it this way: I would really like to, for example, become a millionaire, right? Like that's something that I would super really care about because like all my problems will be solved. We have the saying in Bulgarian, like my days and my nights will be solved if I become a millionaire. However, becoming a millionaire is super hard, you know, like because you have to basically do a lot of sacrifices towards it. There is a lack of chance that you most likely will, because like 2% of businesses are the ones that they succeed and stuff like that. So basically, the bottom line is that even though I really, really want it, if I don't necessarily have the capacity to do it, it's something that I deprioritize. And so like this is kind of a trap. You can trap yourself. You have to be very careful with this. You can point to an incentive that is something possible that you really, really care about, but then the reality check is, and the simple rebuttal is, well, if it's the case that you like don't have the ability to achieve it, or like it's not as easy like that, then maybe it's a bad idea for you to do it, which is the thinking that you'll have, and thus you won't do it. So that's why it's a second tier incentive, because even though it's high up there, you don't have the capacity to do it. The third thing is if like there are incentives that are connected with how other actors also play, so like a form of like collectivization. The most simple example here is like political activism, or like let's do the political activism point, and then I'll use a real world example. So the political activism, you really want to protest, you want to like go outside, do these things, fight for injustices and blah blah blah. But in order to organize a protest, you need more people. And then you start asking yourself, well, maybe there aren't that many people with me. They'll do it. Well, like people will deprioritize. It's going to be like a shameful for me to go there and ultimately fail, so I won't do it. Another example is like anything that you want to do with your friends. You know, like I want to go to the woods with my friends and camp, but like then they say, oh, let's bring this type of food. I want to drink this alcohol. I want to do that, and then all of a sudden, like it breaks apart. So again, this is like if it's contingent on other actors cooperating or acting with you, it may not be a strong incentive. This is like what people do in IR debates, where they, for example, let's say debate, I don't know, something about Serbia joining the EU or something like that, and they would give the argument, oh, but the West can pressure like Serbia to do XYZ thing. But in reality, if it's unlikely to happen, because you're unlikely to be pressured, because again, you are contingent on other actors promising and doing things. Maybe the other part of the world, let's say Russia and China, offer you something else. So it's a second tier incentive. And finally, if it just plain and simply trades off with like your priority, your priority incentive, i.e., or in simple terms, it could be a possible incentive, but is it a likely incentive? Because like if the simple example here is like donating is cool, but if it directly clashes with your ability to spend money and like enjoy life and live a good life, then most likely you're not going to donate. And this is, by the way, all of this is also like kind of a workshop on rebuttal as well, because if you're able to point to whether or not an incentive reason is an essential or a first or second tier analysis, then you can utilize this to poke holes within that incentive system. So yeah, again, this is a rampant problem in debating. People do not know how to basically divide the analysis and whether or not the analysis actually hits the burden of the argument. It's also a problem in judging, where judges just buy a random reason without them necessarily thinking about, okay, does this reason meet the burden that they're trying to prove, etc., etc. And yeah, hope this video was helpful. See you in the next one.